welcome to Donald Trump Jr., who is with us now on set. So good to see you, sir. Thanks for making the time.
Good to be here, gentlemen. How you doing?
Fantastic.
We want to talk about your dad's enormously important speech tonight, the unity of the party, the sense of destiny. There's a lot of amazing stuff.
Yeah.
But I do have to have you weigh in first on what the heck is going on with the Democrats right now in the midst of trying to oust their president a few weeks before the DNC. How do you think this plays out, Don?
Well, again, I don't know that it even matters, right? Because it all comes down to the policies for me. And whether it's Joe Biden, signing off on whoever's actually in charge, or Kamala Harris, it's the policies that have failed America.
So we're fighting against the system, really.
I think we're fighting the system. I think that couldn't be more evident, right? I mean, the border is closed. Sure it is. It doesn't matter. Like,
Kamala's the border czar. She may,
she's the border
she
czar.
knows a thing.
Well, and honestly, there's a component of it that I'm thinking, and again, maybe I'm sort of in my own little vacuum with some of this stuff, but like, Joe Biden, he's sort of the bumbling, like everyone hated Hillary, right? It was easy to get people to hate Hillary. Joe Biden, make no mistake, he's not a good guy. He's taken advantage of every office. He's built the system for so long, but like he comes off as a sort of bumbling old guy. It's sort of hard to hate him. I think it's pretty easy to hate Kamala Harris. You hear a couple of the word salads and you're like, oh my God, this person.
She's just so fake. I mean,
She's
to tell you
so
right,
phony.
she comes across as so phony.
Opposite of phony. I know your dad's going to be president of the United States again, and that's super awesome.
Yeah.
How proud are you of your daughter and what she did last night? Because I think she's 17.
Yeah.
I thought she just absolutely was incredible. As a dad, I got 3 kids. I imagine that is just an amazing experience to see her perform like that on that stage.
It was incredible, and she's just such a game time player. She's a great athlete, and she literally, and again, it wasn't one of these like marketing gimmick, like we got to put out a young girl who we got. Like she literally called me on Monday because she was the one that was with me when I found out my dad had been shot, and like we were together for that hour and a half till we were out fishing on a boat, like rough time. She calls me Monday morning and she's like, I feel really strongly about this. I want to speak. And it's like, the RNC, it's been scheduled for like 2 weeks. I was like, you could like, I'll just bump some senator or something like that. Like I was like, I don't even know if it's doable. I called my dad. I was like, hey, can I just give her some of my time? He goes, 100%. And so she's not political. But she was there for that moment. She saw him come out. And, she was like, I have to just say something. I feel obligated at this point, and it was amazing.
I want to ask you. You just hinted at it. Daughter killed it on the stage last night. She was amazing. That experience on Saturday, I think you were out fishing. Yeah. You don't know what happened. How did you become aware of what had occurred and take us into your worldview?
Yeah, Kim gave me a call. Like, your dad's been shot. Like, well, okay. Like, and like, what, that's it. Like,
yeah.
Well, we don't know. I'm like, wow. I got nothing. So I literally just get the boat in, lines in. We were just, it was weird because like my daughter, 17-year-old girl, like you get that call like once a year, like, hey, I want to go do this. I was like, 100%. You just got to take every opportunity that you can, if and when that ever presents itself. And so, we're rushing in. We get in. I get all my kind of other kids kind of sorted out. And where I live in Jupiter, Florida, like the police there were around my house, was like unrequested by me. No one knew what was happening, if it was a bigger threat to our family or whatever it was. So get there, sort of 90 minutes. 90 minutes before I could even make contact to know that anything. But by then I'd seen the sort of videos, and I was just like, I saw him come back up to find. I was like, well, if he's doing that, it's not like a Kennedy situation or something. So it's a question of how bad it would. And finally I get through to him, and we're all on speakerphone. My ex-wife is there, Kim's there, my daughters, my kids, my brother's on the other line. We're all on speakerphone, and I was just like, hey man, you are the biggest badass I've ever seen. No, because again, these days everyone talks shit online. Everyone, everyone's a badass on the internet. You know what I mean? We've seen that, and I was like, until you're actually tested, I spoke about that a bit in my speech. Like, you never know. Like, everyone wants to think they come back up defiant, but most of the time they're in the fetal position crying.
I think most people, I know a lot of people who have been shot at, and very few of them would say, yeah, if I actually got hit, I'd just be defiant and throw a fist in the air. I mean, that's a whole other level.
So, but honestly, it's so indicative of, our country, that's why our enemies didn't invade their neighbors and drag us into wars. That's why you're able to get those things done, because like you exude that.
Your dad exemplified
kind of
the fighting spirit of America, centuries of the fighting spirit of America, of the patriotism of this country, all in one moment, and captured on photo in a way that I think is going to be timeless.
Yeah, that makes the mugshot look like a kid drew it with a crayon.
If you would,
it really
if you would
does.
outdo
He has
the
the two most
mugshot,
iconic
I would have
photographs in
given
American
you.
history.
I would have given you 100-to-1 odds that there's no way he could
Zero.
outdo the mugshot. But in terms of your dad's mentality now, there has been a sense observed in the media that he's been through all this fight. He seems to have not only beaten the lawfare campaign up to this point, but really turned it against the people that are abusing the judiciary for politics, weaponizing it, right? Mm-hmm. But after what happened on Saturday, people seem to be observing a seriousness and a sense of true destiny with your dad. I wanted you to speak to that.
Okay, so you see that, you look at the probability. I came from a competitive long-range shooting background. Like I was like, that's like a 6-inch putt, that shot. Yeah. You see the head turn and lean. The only one in 10 minutes you see, by the way, the gross incompetence that led to that. Marsha Blackburn came on my show, on my Triggered podcast last night on Rumble, and she was just walking by, and she's like, before I even went on air, she's like, hey, we just got off the call with Secret Service. You know that they knew there was a shooter there at 5:51? I go, what, at 5:51? He didn't get on until 6. She goes, oh, yeah, I know. They identified the guy on the roof at 5:53 with a rifle.
I've got that timeline here. I can't believe it.
And they let him get on this. I was like, okay, someone climbed up a roof really, maybe, again, my father, the rallies are, so much of law enforcement, they're so MAGA. Maybe they were watching instead of paying attention. So if it was started, maybe they'd eyes off the prize for a second. No. They knew. And he hadn't even been on stage yet. They let him get on stage, and then 11 minutes in is when the shots got. So for 20 minutes, they knew. They still let him get on that stage. That's asinine.
For people who haven't heard that timeline, let me hit you with it. 5:10, they identified the shooter as a person of interest. 5:10. 5:30, they saw that he had a rangefinder. This is Secret Service timeline. 5:52, they saw him on the roof. 6:02, 10 minutes after this guy was on the roof, they let your dad take the stage. 10 more minutes, the first shots are fired.
It's insane. For that, hey, I don't want to be the guy to get conspiratorial. I'm not going to do that. I'm sure everyone else is doing it because there's almost no other plausible solution. It's like Wuhan lab leak theory. Of course it came from the lab that studies the virus in the place that was ground zero. Of course, but you weren't allowed to say that at the time. But there's no way. And so when you bring it sort of to the divine intervention component, and I'm not an overly spiritual kind of guy, but I was like, I don't know, man. It seems like almost impossible for that to not have been.
We agree. I mean,
it's almost
divine providence.
I met you, your dad, Ivanka, Eric, 30 years ago. I met him when he was a dad, when he was just your dad, right?
Exactly.
Another one of the dads in New York. And so the feeling that was going through my head at the time was, oh my God, this is Eric and Ivanka and Don Jr.'s father. Oh my God, the country. Oh my God, what's going to happen? I haven't had an emotional reaction like that since I saw, honest to God, when I was in college, which led me to the CIA, the planes going into the towers in real time. I saw the second one actually hit. It was that feeling.
Yeah.
But what's, I think, just incredible about this week is that feeling was then replaced with your dad's okay. Your dad's fist on the stage. Your dad has unified the Republican Party like we have, honestly, never seen before in my lifetime. I would say the country was incredibly unified after 9/11. The Republican Party is more unified now behind your dad than we've ever seen it before. The sense of destiny that he has, how is he feeling about that, and how is he more focused than ever?
I just don't think he's taking anything for granted. I mean, I think the sense of destiny is probably not something he's even feeling or has not articulated to me per se, but I think anyone watching, anyone who sees the numbers, anyone who sees the thing, it's like there's almost no other conclusion.
Does he think God saved him?
I think without question.
You guys, let's finish with something funny because I saw this quote and I want you to tell our audience. Your family has a great sense of humor. Much of the media does not get it, right? Your dad has a great sense of humor.
They try to warp it.
They pretend they can't understand
But
jokes,
I saw this quote. I want you to tell our audience, because I haven't heard you tell it. I just read it. Once you knew your dad was okay, you got on the phone and you asked him about his hair.
Yeah.
Well, tell us, once you knew he was okay,
I started off with hey man, I think you're the biggest badass ever.
Yes.
And then it was just sort of just a little family talk and hey, glad you're okay. But it was so heavy.
Yes.
And I'm always the inappropriate. I probably have his sort of inclination just to be like, okay.
Yeah.
So I just go, so listen, most importantly, how's the hair? and he just goes, there was a pause. I was like, I was like, is this getting more?
It's really funny.
It is a pause. He goes, Don, the hair is fine. Lot of blood, but the hair is fine. It's going to be okay. And that was like, for us, honestly, as a family, because like I said, we're all on sort of speakerphone after an hour and a half of just like, is he even alive? And it was just like,
Cathartic.
You knew he was there. You knew he was good.
It was a moment of like, okay, like everything's going to be okay.
That's amazing. Well, look, it's so exciting tonight with your dad's speech coming up, and we're going to be watching it here. And Don, just thanks to you, your dad, the whole family.
Thank you.
You guys didn't have to do this, and I think people now understand that more than ever before.
Yeah.
That this is about serving the country.
Yeah. They've tried to fine us. They've tried to jail us, including me, for treason and crime punishable by death. They tried impeaching him twice. They tried taking away our businesses. They fined us $500 million in New York for paying back loans on time with interest. I mean, now they're shooting at us. So, it was a lot easier being a real estate developer from New York. You knew us in those days, a little different.
You didn't have to tell everybody. Your dad could just be playing golf forever, and he would have had a great legacy from the first 4 years. So, anyway, God bless you, man, the whole family.
Thank you,
We're so
guys,
appreciative
seriously.
you being here. And,
Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Look, there's a friend of mine. His name is Porter Stansberry. He's a CEO of a financial research company, and he cut his salary down to $1. He did this on purpose, and he's made this something that he talks about publicly. Why? Because he feels there's a better way to get paid for him and for you. Now, you don't need to be a CEO to obtain this new kind of compensation. Porter details for you how people in lots of full-time roles all across the country can be compensated with this new, not-so-well-known currency. Porter wants to make it well-known. It's critical you understand how America's new money works. Check out Porter's latest detailed presentation at secretcurrency2024.com. You won't see this opportunity discussed anywhere else. Go to secretcurrency2024.com. That's secretcurrency2024.com.